Hello folks, welcome back to the channel and thank you very much for joining me once again. You are always most welcome. So today, something new and exciting from ICM. Not a new tool as such, but certainly a new package. World Air Force's version of their DH-82A Tiger Moth. Now I've not reviewed the Tiger Moth from them before, so actually it is new to me. So I'm just going to review it with completely fresh eyes because that's what they are. And it's interesting because it's coming in these unusual schemes. So we've got the Belgian scheme, French scheme, although it's Vichy France, so it's probably one best forgotten. American scheme, Portugal, because I thought at first it was Malta, I always get them confused, or Sweden. And it also comes with this lovely, very vibrant pack of paints, their acrylic set for the appropriate kit, which is their kit number, or item number 3083, as you can see. And you get aluminium, deep yellow, deep red, green, tan earth and dark blue. So really rather a nice set this is. Look at these, it shows those different variants there. And it can be, you know, it's for training aeroplanes. It's not just for purely for the Tiger Moth. 1930s and 40s training aircraft, so you can use it for a whole variety of things. If you've got the Airfix Bulldog or things like that, you can probably use it for that. Polish Squadron, what's that, 1944? Polish Squadron Tiger Moth, Training Squadron. What's that number? PT-17, or indeed this Tiger Moth we have here. So it can be used for a wide variety of different aircraft. Rather a nice paint set there, I would say. Very nice indeed. So, I'm going to now boost up the light in here. Because I tend to start without my big light on because I get the reflection. If I put it on now, you'll see what I mean. You see it? Whoa, there it goes, big reflection. Anyway, let's have a look at the side of this, and you can see in a bit more detail some of these options that you've got. So you've got 5 marking options, which is nice. And we have here, starting with the Swedish Air Force, obviously in 1935, Portugal 1939. Vichy France, 1941. Obviously, it's effectively a captured one, in obviously one that was lent to them for training purposes, and then got their rather unpleasant Nazi-friendly regime. Obviously, took it over. Then you've got the American Air Force, U.S. Army Air Force in 1943, and that's almost certainly being used in the UK, I think. And then finally, the Belgian Air Force in 1945. So, when they got their Air Force back. And it says on the side, it's nice artwork, isn't it? Lovely playing the Tiger Moth. Everybody seems to like a Tiger Moth, don't they? Very nice. Nice bit of art there. And it says on the side here, the DH-82A Tiger Moth training biplane is operated by the Air Forces worldwide. Precision reproduction of the aircraft with geometry and detail of the fuselage, engine and cockpit elements faithfully reproduced. Decals featuring markings for Air Forces of America, Belgium, Sweden, Portugal and Vichy France. 93 parts, so this shouldn't be too challenging. 32nd scale, it's not many parts, is it? So it should be fairly easy to construct. Let's have a look what we got then. Let's have a look, see. And we will have a look in. Let's have a look. A little bit tricky to get into, I've got to be honest, but I have got my gripping gloves on, which should aid us. This is one of the reasons I wear them, especially with ICM reviews, because without them I just don't think I get in. So many of you will have bought these kits from ICM and know what I mean. It's a good thing though, it's not a criticism. It's a positive thing because they are so well packed, and that's the way you want. I'd rather be patient opening it than have a kit that arrives like some, you know, I'm not knocking Airfix particularly, but they have had some kits where they're the opposite. They have an oversized box with an oversized bag and screws just rattle all over the place and get damaged, so don't mind, to be honest. Oh, it's not a huge amount of plastic. In fact, this actually looks a bit overboxed, but it is physically a big sprue, so it fits the space, it just hasn't got the depth. Well, that's it, okay. All looks very straightforward then. So obviously it's recommending paint set 3083, which we just looked at, and it says here The DH-92A Tiger Moth was developed by the de Havilland Company in the mid-1930s and produced in large quantities. 8,000 of them were sold by the end of World War II. It served 8,000, that's a lot of planes. It served extensively as a training and liaison aircraft. And the Tiger Moth gained a widespread adoption with Norway, Portugal, Sweden, establishing their own licensing production facilities. Wow. The aircraft also serviced with pilots from Belgium, France and the USA. Simple yet reliable, this aircraft gained affection and respect from novice and experienced pilots alike. Nice to fly, you see. It doesn't have any horrible characteristics. It says some even quipped that the letters DH stood for durable and efficient. Okay. Apt descriptions of this remarkable little aircraft. The Tiger Moth continued to delight enthusiasts today, gracing both flying clubs and aviation shows all over the world with its presence. Crew up to 2, 7.3 metres in length, span of 8.9 metres basically. A takeoff weight of 828 kilos. It doesn't weigh as much as a car. That's incredible. I once had a car, the lightest car I've ever had was a Smart Brabus Coupe, which was very light, and that was 850 kilos. Yeah, that's incredible. Maximum speed 175 km, so that's about 130 miles an hour. Maximum ceiling 4,000 meters, sorry, so that's 12,000 feet, beg pardon. Range about 300, just over 300 miles, 490 km. Right then, oh look at these decals, these look rather special. Now I did have a bit of a grumble, didn't I, about the Heinkel decals, the captured Heinkel, the blues. Wasn't too happy with the blues. But these look a lot better. These look a lot nicer, I've got to say, from ICM. So I don't know whether it's just I don't know if they use a subcontractor or what's causing their problem, but they do seem to suffer with the blues a bit. I'm still not convinced it's the deepest blue, but this is much better than what we saw on that Heinkel, where it was this sort of slightly pale, blotchy looking blue, both on the RAF and the American markings. Swedish crowns here, Swedish Air Force. You've got the crosses of Portugal, the Portuguese flag, very nice there, Portuguese flag. And then you've got the vision, French government. And then the Belgian ones here, and then the French roundels, sort of French, aren't they? French roundels there, but those are lovely decals, nice and big obviously, very colourful, and they look nice, so that's good. Great start there from ICM, let's see if we can keep it up. So, this shouldn't take too long because it's not a very complicated aeroplane. So, I'll zoom you in a bit more. Sprue map here, and we're going to start, so you've got to think of this as a biplane, isn't it? So, it's almost like a wing and wings really. I think there's going to be some rigging, which makes me nervous. So you've got to drill quite a few holes, I think that's for rigging, isn't it? It is. Oh, rigging. Those of you that like rigging in biplanes will have no issue here. Cowards like me are going to suffer. I suppose you could do it without the rigging, but at this scale it doesn't really work, does it, I'm afraid. Anyway, you're going to do your rigging and start building up your fuselage sides, bringing them in together, fairly rudimentary instrument panel by the look of it, bringing in your tailplane, horizontal stabiliser, and you've got your... Yeah, you've got two different options? There's an option here, two different versions, not quite sure what that is. Again, they have this thing, don't they, ICM, where they have a question mark, but it doesn't tell you what the options represent. Can be a bit tricky. And then you've got your vertical tail fin and rudder going in. And you've got an engine. What is the engine? Did it say? Can you tell us that, did it? Oh yes it did, sorry. So it's a de Havilland Gypsy Major 1C, 145 brake horsepower. Well, that's more than enough in an aircraft that weighs no more than a few boxes of anchor tubes, you know. So it's a light aircraft because it's got a light engine, it's one of the reasons. It's an inline 4-cylinder by the look of it, yeah. The Gypsy engine, okay, very nice. And it's got the engine bearings going on, goes in there, you've got your cowlings coming on, the two doors, side doors going on there. Access door, there's two access door flaps really that drop down on the other side as well. And you've got your cowling cover, both sides here. Little bit of a sort of a vestigial windscreen. Well, it is a proper windscreen really. I say vestigial, it's like there's like an instrument panel and then the little screens going at the bottom as you can see. And then a few more holes. This all for, again, this is for the rigging, so you need to drill a few holes here. And then you have got the sticks, the actual control sticks going in for both the pilot and the instructor, if you will, and the pilot. And then you're going to bring, it's all quite simple this, isn't it? It's almost matchbox like, it's quite a low part count. Bringing that down then on top of the lower wing, you got your big cabane struts which are going to come in and support the wing between the two, upper and lower. More holes to drill for your for some of these smaller struts and the rigging. Bringing in the top wing as well, which looks like it's in one piece. And I think that's the fuel tank, isn't it, that usually sits it's to give it gravity feed, isn't it? Fuel tank sits on top of the top wing, as they often did in the First World War. And there you go, you've got to bring in your, sorry, it's not, I was wrong about it being one piece. The top wing is actually you construct it later, it's slightly confusing. So you bring the lower part of the top wing down, and then here the upper parts of the top wing, either side of that fuel tank, fit on there. And then you do the same underneath, you flip it over, which isn't made that clear, but obviously you flip it over, and then you do the bottom part, construction of the lower wing. Ailerons going on the top wing here, and then ailerons going on the bottom wing. Sorry, I beg your pardon, those are flaps, not ailerons, what am I saying? Flaps? Slats. Slats? Is that right? Yes, they are. Yeah, slats, I beg your pardon, on the leading edge of the wing. And then you've got your ailerons going on there, you've got your undercarriage coming together, complete with your support struts for it. Obviously it's a fixed undercarriage on these. And then you've got the many struts that support it and reinforce it going on underneath there. And then you've got a couple of control rods. It's all very rudimentary, isn't it? And support struts for the tail planes. And then finally you've just got the control rods for the rudders here. And then you bring in your spinner and prop all in one piece. And then you've got to put your rigging in, and that's where it gets a bit tricky, I think. Oh, this is where I start to sweat. I don't think you need a mast set for this. You can just use their template, which they provide. And then you get your different colour call out. It doesn't tell you a lot about the rigging though, does it? In terms of the details. I think that they could have done a lot more on the rigging front. In terms of, there's not much to go on there, to be honest. Anyway, there's your Swedish Air Force training division. Looks very nice and colourful. Then you've got the Portuguese in yellow and blue, which looks very nice. That's cool. Then you've got the French one. The Vichy Air Force. Oh, bad guys, those were. And then you've got the American, it says 353rd Fighter Group. I wonder where that was. Doesn't actually say, does it? 1943. Doesn't give a location, which is a shame. That's certainly for training purposes. And then finally, you've got the Belgian Air Force, 1945, when they got their Air Force back. Very good. I mean, the instructions are pretty clear. Apart from the rigging, it doesn't tell you anything about rigging, really. It just encourages you to drill lots of holes, but yeah, I'm not sure about that. I think that could have been a bit clearer. Anyway, it looks good. It looks fairly straightforward. If you don't want to worry about rigging, I don't think there's going to be a problem. So, what have we got? This shouldn't take too long. I think there's only basically 2 sprues and a bit of clear parts. It almost looks a bit like an upscale 76 scale to me, this does. 48. But it's quite a simple plane, isn't it? So this will compete with your Matchbox Tiger Moth, things like that. Around there, isn't it? Now they've got the tooling. It looks quite nice though. It's yeah, the quality looks very high. Look at this. So we have here, just where my finger is, there's a seat, which looks like it's trying to leave the sprue actually. Is it trying to leave the sprue? I think it is. There's quite a rudimentary looking seat there. Yeah. And then we've got our engine, our Gypsy engine. Some fairly nice subtle stretched fabric over the spars, you can see there. Same on the horizontal stabiliser and the elevators. There's your fuel tank. Looks nice. And then you've got your main, this way. And you've got your main fuselage, I've learned to just zoom back a bit because it definitely focuses better when I'm not on full zoom. And here we've got is that the underside of the lower wing? I think it is. Underside of the lower wing, I think. Yeah, it is. So you have your ailerons are on the lower wing and your slats are on the upper wing, interestingly. Obviously it keeps it simpler by having them separated like that. Very nice, nothing wrong with that. Nice sprue. Okay. So. Then we have got, there's actually 3 sprues plus the clear part, so I was slightly out there. This is nice though, nice sprue, look at this. So you've got all your big cabane struts here, and support struts, and your instrument panels there. And then your wheels and tyres, which look nicely moulded. It's all very clean, isn't it? Very nice. Make yourself a nice Tiger Moth without too much effort here, I think. Well, unless you're into rigging. Oops, that's a different story then, isn't it? Oh, yes. Look at that, the way they've even got the little pitot head moulded in to the strut, which is cool. I think that's the one over on the starboard side, isn't it? Lovely, 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 lovely. You got your undercarriage struts here. It's actually that way up, isn't it? There you go. Yeah, fantastic. Some great detail. Love it. And then finally we've got the wings. So we've got the top wing, and they've done this very, very nicely, haven't they? The contouring of the stretched skin over the spars. Is that? No, actually, sorry. This is the upper part of both the lower wing. This is the lower wing here. That's the upper part of the lower wing, and the upper part of the upper wing. A bit confusing, isn't it? But that's how it is. Why is that fuel tank a different one then? That's quite strange. Appears to be a fuel tank built into the wing here, and then the other one is actually a separate piece, which I'm a little bit confused about. One's a bigger, I think just one's a bigger tank. I think there's 2 tank options basically. One's a fatter tank. And this is quite a typical sort of local flying club, you know. It's probably got about 50-gallon tank or something, not huge. Because it won't use all that much fuel. It'll be fairly economical, I suspect, this 4-cylinder. It's just like a car engine, you know. And then last but not least, we have got our little windscreens. Not quite sure how I'm going to get into this. Where's the end? There it is. Tricky. Very tricky. Just come back on the old focus a bit. Zoom. Try to tease it out. Come on. There we are. There's your windscreens. Yes. Very nice. Superb! Well, it's a nice kit, isn't it? I can't see any flash or any faults or any short shots or anything nasty at all. I think this is quite affordable as well. I think it's about £35 to £40, if that. Somewhere in the £30 to £40 mark, I think, is my, if I had to pitch and take a wild guess without checking. I might just check for you in a second, just to quantify it properly. So I think will be quite helpful. If you fancy a Tiger Moth and you can't get your hands on a Matchbox one, reminds me, Jason at Model Kit Stuff's supposed to be sending him. He's sending me, loaning me, not sending, loaning me his Matchbox one. So I will be. Maybe I'll compare it to this. I'll keep this back and perhaps pop it out again and just compare it out of interest. You know, and let's give you an idea about what it would cost you to get your hands on this. So ICM, what is it? 320, right, 32019. Let's have a little looky. and see what it comes up with. ICM. Slight problem with my phone here. 32019, which it hasn't done for some reason. I think we've got it now. Here we go. Yeah, that's right. £35. That's bang on. Yeah, just use it up on the box size really, what they charge, you know. So that is a very reasonable price for a kit that looks like it'll probably go together with ease, frankly. As I say, the only nervousness I've got would be my own personal inexperience with rigging. But, so maybe Jason, if he's watching, he might want to just pick up one of these and maybe build this instead of the matchbox. Let me have the matchbox. Oh, I'm just joking. He's not going to do that, is he? He'd have to be crazy, he'd have to be drunk. And I don't think he's a drinker, so that's not going to happen. Anyway, you know what I mean. It's just that you could actually keep your classic matchbox and build yourself one of these instead. And have yourself a lovely Tiger Moth on the shelf. So, marks out of 10. It's very simple, and I say it does. The only letdown is that lack of rigging data. Really, I think this doesn't really give you much of a heads up of how to do it or anything. So I'm going to knock it half points. I'm going to give it 9.5, 35 quid, 9.5 out of 10, which I think is fair. Plastic's beautiful. You have a lovely little Tiger Moth, and at the end of the day, you don't have to have these markings if you don't want to. You can get some aftermarket markings and do what you like with it. But if you want to go with this one, you can have it in these trainer colours from all around the world using that paint set. Absolutely fantastic. Well done, ICM. Thanks for the loan, or donation of the kit, I should say. Really appreciate that. Thank you for watching. Hope you agree with my score, 9.5 out of 10. I hope you'll give me a 10 out of 10 with a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Well, I'm going to be having a little bit of a break as I film this. This is probably I've probably just got one more kit coming, which I will film. Probably won't put it in the I won't show these necessarily in the sequence that they were shot, a bit like UFO. But I'm going to be having a break of 3 or 4 weeks of not doing any recordings. But that doesn't mean I won't be on YouTube. It just means I'll be having a rest from doing this. I need to crack on with the mosquito, and I really need to get on with that now. I'm feeling it's getting a bit silly that I haven't done anything, you know. Just been busy with lots of other things, like fundraising, etc., which I haven't still quite finalised at the time of recording, although I suspect when you see this, pretty sure by the time you see this vid, it'll all be done and dusted. We just got to sort out the animal charity element of it, and then my work here is done, as they say. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hope you appreciated the quick look at it. Certainly a nice kit, worth your consideration if you like Tiger Moths. So, until next time, stay well, stay safe. Hope to see you again very soon. In the meantime, thanks very much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and bye for now.